Coming up, Iowa lawmakers are looking at a bill that could allow Iowa college athletes to get paid for their naming rights. Later on, we hear the results of the New Hampshire primaries and how the Democratic candidates are feeling about the election.
Spring sports are right around the corner, but basketball is still in the midst of their season. More for you in sports.
We have some brutal temperatures coming for us this week, and hopefully they don't interrupt your Valentine's Day plans. I've got all that you need to know on this week's upcoming weather.
All that and more coming up on this Wednesday morning edition of DITV News. Don't go anywhere, DITV starts right now. Good morning and thank you for tuning in. I'm Emily Callahan. An Iowa Senate subcommittee has unanimously voted to approve a bill that allows college athletes to be paid for the use of their name. Iowa Senators and committee members Brad Zahn, Herman Kornbach, and Craig Johnson have approved the bill for the Senate Education Committee to review. If the bill is approved by the committee, it will move to the floor of the Senate to be passed, and if passed in the Senate, it will allow college athletes in the state of Iowa, including Hawkeye athletes, to be paid for the use of their photo and name. New Hampshire kicked off primary elections on Tuesday, and their results have come a lot faster than that of the Iowa caucuses. With 97% of the precincts reporting, Senator Bernie Sanders has been declared the winner of the primary with 26% of the vote. Both Senator Sanders and Warren were hoping for a bit of luck with that home court advantage as the two represent nearby states, but Warren didn't have as good a showing as Sanders with only 10% of the vote coming in fourth. Mayor Pete Buttigieg came in second with 24.5% of the vote, with Senator Amy Klobuchar in third with 20%. Former Vice President Joe Biden did not seem hopeful leading up to the New Hampshire results, leaving for South Carolina before the polls closed in New Hampshire. Biden came in fifth in the primary with only 8.4% of the vote, and Democratic candidate Andrew Yang thanked supporters as he ended his campaign as results poured in, having only 2.6% of the vote at the time he announced his suspension. This will be our last indicator of candidate success for a while until the Nevada caucuses on February 22nd. Now, while things might be slowing down for Yang, it's just starting to get colder here in Iowa. Olivia has more for us in the weather studio.
Thanks, Emily. Someone must have broken Mother Nature's heart this week because she's giving us not so nice temperatures. This morning we'll start off with a cold 27 degrees and some mostly cloudy skies. Leading into an evening, we have a 50% chance of snow showers and a high of 32 degrees. Looking into the upcoming week, we can plan to see temperatures drop pretty drastically. On Thursday, we can anticipate a high of -2 degrees with a 20% chance of scattered snow showers. Friday, we have a high of 10 degrees, leading into a weekend in the mid-30s with a 30% chance of snow on Saturday and cloudy skies on Sunday. Hopefully, these cold temperatures don't stop Cupid's arrows from flying on Valentine's Day. Back to you, Emily.
Thanks, Olivia. In the search for a new University of Iowa Vice President of Student Life, Associate Professor and Department Executive Officer of Political Science, Brian Lai has emerged as a fourth candidate. Lai held a forum at the IMU yesterday afternoon for UI faculty, staff, and students, with his main focus on challenges the university faces with diversity, equity, and inclusion. Lai said, quote, "I don't think the Vice President for Student Life will have the answers to all these problems. That is because the Vice President for Student Life is not living these problems. These are the problems that our students are facing. We need to hear from them," end quote. Brian Lai joins UIowa Associate Director of Academic Support and Retention Danielle Martinez, Tippie Associate Dean Kenneth Brown, and Sarah Hansen as the fourth candidate in the running for the position. And while things are changing with the University of Iowa faculty, we're also seeing some changes in sports. Tiana has more for us on spring sports in the sports studio.
Spring sports are right around the corner, and that means baseball season. We are just 2 days away from opening day for baseball, and we have DITV sports reporter Kimberly Bates live in the newsroom with more on this 2020 team. Good morning, Kimberly. What can we expect from the Hawks this season?
Good morning, Tiana. So the Hawks are returning 3 of their core starters this season, but Austin Martin is really going to be the only one who's locked into his position that he played last season. So Coach Heller has a lot of tough decisions to make position player-wise. A lot of speculation is coming from outside of Dwayne Banks as the Hawks are coming off of a 31-win season, and they're just speculating that maybe they just got sluggish at the end of the season. So this is what Coach Heller had to say about that.
You know, with all that we had gone through, I felt like that we were still fighting hard. I thought we were playing as well as we were when we were winning games. But the thing that we ran into was two teams that played really well against us. It wasn't like we were, flat or got blew out. I just think it was more baseball related than anything else. I didn't feel like it was sluggish. Now, we were shorthanded last year, and I do think that the back end of our bullpen got a little tired at the end of the season because we had to go to them a lot. Now,
the Hawks have been known for having a strong bullpen for the last several seasons. Do you see them continuing that legacy?
Absolutely. The Hawks have so much depth when it comes to their bullpen, especially this season. They do have to find a replacement for the #1 starter, Cole McDonald, but they've got starters like Grant Judkins, who posted the team's best ERA last season, Grant Leonard as the best stopper this season, and also Trace Hoffman, Hunter Lee, and Ben Probst. Another face we haven't seen in a while because of an injury last season is Jack Dreyer. He is a top candidate as a Friday night starter, and this is what he had to say about his perspective on the bench last season.
When you're not playing, you kind of have the back seat, and you can watch what other guys are doing right or maybe doing wrong. But last year we had a lot of great leaders helping us out, telling us what's right, what's wrong, how to go about our jobs, and so I was really able to take a closer look at what they meant by that stuff, and so I think it kind of helped prepare me for what's expected of us for this season. Everything's back to 100%. I'm just excited to get back out there and show the team what I can do.
Thanks, Kim. The Hawks kick off their season this Friday in Port Charlotte, Florida against Kent State. Like Connor McCaffrey, we head away from the baseball field to go to the basketball court. When the media talks about Iowa basketball, they talk about Luka Garza, and rightfully so. But there is one star player who does not get as much national attention as he deserves. With more on that is DITV sports reporter Tanner Desplank.
Joe Wieskamp has been stepping up his game all season long, being able to score on any part of the floor. And last weekend, he scored a season high of 30 points to beat Nebraska.
Like I said before the season, last year I was kind of a guy that could shoot it and get to the rim. But I think I've done a better job of creating more opportunities for myself, taking more mid-range shots. I don't think I'm shooting them as well as I'd hope, but I think that just being able to shoot those and take those with confidence is opening up different things for my game.
The thing about him, he's really just so incredibly efficient with what he does. He can get going and he can just move without it, but he affects the game at both ends. Obviously we're looking for him. We're locked into him, but he's not a mistake guy. He's not a volume shooter.
Being on the same team as Luka Garza has cast a little shadow over Wieskamp, but his playmaking abilities and efficiency should still have him being considered as one of the top players in the NCAA currently.
From Carver Hawkeye Arena, Tanner Desplank, DITV.
Wieskamp and the rest of the team head to Indiana tomorrow to take on the Hoosiers, topping off at 7 p.m. The indoor season for Iowa track and field is just heating up. At the Husker Invite this weekend in Lincoln, the track team set 11 personal bests and won 2 individual titles. Senior Will Daniels finished first place in the heptathlon, breaking the school record with 5,869 points. He is currently ranked #1 in the Big Ten and 6th in the nation. Senior Joe McConico also earned his 4th win of the season in the 60-meter hurdles, finishing with a time of 7.67 seconds. The Hawkeyes' next meet is in Ames on Friday and Saturday at the Iowa State Classic. I don't know what I'm more excited for these upcoming months, spring sports or warmer weather. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for a preview of men's basketball as they take on the Indiana Hoosiers tomorrow night. Emily, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Deanna. That's all we have for y'all on this Wednesday morning edition of DITV News, but be sure to head over to thedailyiowan.com for all your latest news between Monday and Friday. If that isn't enough the Daily Iowan for you, be sure to check out our print edition of the news on Stands Now. For DITV News, I'm Emily Callahan. Have a great day, Iowa City.